Tell you.
Yeah.
Not without the permission of Matt Dodson.
Oh, wait.
You guys, we need to be in our seats. What are we doing?
Is that out of the wrapper?
Yeah, he didn't bring you the Florida wrapper. He says he's gonna get it.
Eat it.
It's no, it's perfect.
Blow it up. Blow it up.
You got it next round. Oh,
Is it 10-1?
Look at it, it looks good.
Andy, Andy,
yeah, right.
blow it up.
Answer.
Dude, all the germs are gone.
Oh, Jack, let's go first.
What are they doing?
What's up?
Olin and Matt.
Couple silly
Fix your
guys
butts.
I was trying
walking
to say hi
around.
to those two.
Two ladies or guys, I don't know what they were.
Can't assume gender nowadays.
That's what, they were bundled up in winter wear.
You're kidding.
Were they little children?
No,
God.
whatever they were older.
Just making sure you weren't trying to catch the second one.
A what?
The second one.
Yeah, button, I don't know if it look like that.
First have the weekly snapshot.
I looked at her video.
Bud, is this assignment easier?
I don't even like that answer.
He's not far from that.
Is this assignment, would you say this one's easier than 10-1? Is it like same style, like solid equations and stuff?
Oh, I got art.
This is 10-1 day 2, right?
10-2.
Day 1.
It's the only day.
And then tomorrow we have a
Holy.
practice test
How many
and
points did you score?
I haven't made it up yet. If you ask me tomorrow, I'll tell you.
If we didn't have school,
Tomorrow is
I'd say
the
we have to
practice
make
I
it.
know.
quiz, and then, why wouldn't we have school on Wednesday?
I'm just wondering.
On what?
They'd probably have.
If Matt Dodds doesn't have school on.
Hey, yo, raise your hand if you're going to high school hockey.
They would extend it.
Wait, we have to take MCAs?
Wait.
Who does?
Wait, no, she was talking, we didn't have school on Wednesday.
What grade has to
I'm
take
so
MCAs?
confused. We don't have to take MCAs for math, but we do have. What?
You take MC, well, don't you take them in 11th grade? MCs for math?
We're taking
Take all
them.
3 and take math.
And that's the end, because we're taking them this week.
This week?
No. For 10th graders are taking science.
Math
English this
is
week, and you
only
have
in
the second
11th
half.
grade.
Wait, you don't have to wait.
The second
Okay.
half.
Second half science.
Oh, I'm
And you
not.
have English A.
Okay, so listen up. We are going to do the last assignment, okay, which is on section 10-2, day 1.
Why only day 1?
Well, just we're not doing days. So tomorrow you will have a practice quiz, and then on Wednesday you'll have your quiz. Also tomorrow, we are turning in our books.
Let's
So,
go.
make sure you bring your book and make sure it's cleaned out and stuff like that, okay? So I gave you guys the cheat sheet for this chapter, so this is what you will use, for the quiz on Wednesday. And what we're gonna be doing today is you're gonna be given an equation. So it's gonna have 2 sides, and you have to follow along, and you have to show your work until both sides are equal, okay? Now,
Sorry, guys.
one thing I want to tell you guys is the problems where you had to simplify in the last chapter, or the last section. So say Friday's notes. Let me find them here.
It's at that bottom, you hand out a really quick back.
So say we look at Friday's notes. When I grade the assignment on this, some of you lost points and will lose points if you don't show the steps, okay? So if this were a question on the test, you would get points for each of these. Same thing here, same thing here. Every step you're gonna get a point for. And what I noticed on your homework, you know, especially if it gets like longer, on your homework, some of you are just giving the answer. You're not showing the work. Part of this is work, okay? Especially today. Today it's called verifying identities, and you're gonna have two sides to an equation, and you're gonna either work on both sides or just one side and try to make them be the same. If it takes you 4 steps to do it, that may be 8 points on the test, or 4 points, I haven't decided yet. But if you skip steps, you're gonna lose points for that. Okay, so those of you that don't write much, this may not be a good quiz for you. So I just wanna bring that out. And if you look at your homework grades and they're low, that's why.
You did.
The moral of the story is not to be lazy.
Yes. So again, we're gonna use all of these that we have for the cheat sheet. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna be using these. And
Taylor,
so when
I lost my pencil.
So what we're gonna do, you guys, is we're gonna try to put both sides of the equation in terms of sine or cosine. And then we are going to try to get both sides to be equal. And I will tell you, I made the problems for this way easier than I would have had to. So there are problems with this that are a lot harder than what I put on the notes as well as on your worksheet. So if you look, what was that? Okay, so when you look at tangent, what can you write tangent at? As
Sine over cosine.
sine over cosine, okay? So you'd write this in parentheses times cosine. You don't have to write theta, don't worry about that. And we want it to equal sine. So now what would happen here?
You can cancel out the cosine.
Cosines, and then this is what you would do. You would just write sine equals sine, and then you put a check mark after it once you get to that final step. Okay?
Do we have to put a check?
Yes.
What does the check mark mean for it?
It means like you verified it, you're done. Okay? Oh, sorry. What did I say? Helps to listen.
You have to say cotangent equals cotangent for the next one, if you say cosine over sine equals,
You
cotangent.
cannot put
I'll
a
show
check
you.
mark by cosine over.
Okay, so if you look here, we want to write these things in terms of sine and cosine, okay? So I'm going to write this as 1 over sine and this as cosine. And for the time being, I'm going to let this be cotangent, okay? So a lot of times I'll leave the right side to be what it is, and I'll work just on the left side, okay? Now, from this, you would have to say that this is cosine over sine. And then, what is cosine over sine? Cotangent. And then you would write this. So these are like trig identity, they're kind of proofs. So even though that's obvious to you, you have to verify each step. So if you didn't have these 3 steps when I'm grading it, you'd lose points for whatever steps you're missing. Okay?
Light on the day 1 worksheet from last week.
Say that again?
Maybe light on the day 1 worksheet from last week. No,
Oh, of course. Yes. Yep.
I did 20 later.
I give you some, I just watched the video. So we have to show. No, I didn't. But 1 over sine times
I
cosine.
just changed up for the first one.
Okay, so now let's go to this page, okay? Now again, what I want to do is write things in terms of sine and cosine, and I can leave the right side be as is. So what can I write tangent theta as? Sine over cosine, okay? Then what is 1 minus sine squared? 1
It's cosine squared.
minus sine squared is cosine squared, and you guys should have that cheat sheet out. And we want to show that that is equal to sine times cosine, okay? What can I cross out here?
One cosine and
I
then the
can-
other cosine.
And do you get I can cross out this 2, right? And then don't I have sine cosine equals sine cosine?
Yeah.
So you can leave it like that, yes. And then you're gonna do your check, and the other thing is too, if you have to cross stuff out, you have to cross it out, because this is not just your work, it's a proof, kind of, okay, yep,
So we don't have to put the data back in there?
no. I mean, you certainly can, but you don't have to. So now, again, I would leave the cotangent on the right side, because that's only one thing, so I'm gonna leave that, and I'm gonna write these in terms of sine and cosine. So what is cosecant?
1 over sine,
And secant?
1 over cosine.
Very good, okay? And that equals cotangent, is what we're trying to prove, okay? So now what I would do is change this to write it as divided by 1 over cosine. Okay, yep.
If we did that first, does it matter?
Yeah, we need to put it, we want to.
You have to have both of these, yes,
That just tired.
yes. And then we're gonna change from this to the, do you guys get what I did there? I changed this to multiplication and I did the reciprocal of that.
Yeah.
And that equals cotangent is what we're trying. And then this is gonna be cosine over sine. Do you get that? And is cosine over sine cotangent? Yes. So cotangent equals cotangent, and then you're done. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps that you would have to have on your test.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
So now let's go to this page, okay? This one is in sine and cosine already. Do you know how I could figure out what this is? What would you do with something like this?
You have to look at the Pythagorean identities.
You could foil it and be like.
You would FOIL it, right? Do you guys all remember what FOIL is? FOIL is first, outside, inside, last. So what you would do is you'd multiply 1 times 1, which is 1. O for outside is 1 times negative sine, which is negative sine. I for inside is sine times 1, which is plus sine. And then last would be sine times negative sine. What would that be? Negative sine squared. Okay. What could I do with this? Yeah, what would happen to these two? Wouldn't they cross out? So you'd get 1 minus sine squared. And what is 1 minus sine squared? Cosine squared. So are we done? And if I look at this one, how can I?
No mathematics.
You're complaining about that too?
What's 1 minus sine squared? Cosine squared over cosine equals cosine. Is this true?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you cross out this and this?
Yeah. But you don't have to cross those out, right? You could just say.
Not so much in that one, but like in the ones where like this, I would want to see it.
Yeah.
If you're ever in doubt, just cross them out.
That's pretty nice.
All right.
All right.
Cross out the whole problem.
So now, let's go here. Okay, so again, we are gonna just work on the left side, and we're gonna try to write it in terms of cosine and sine. So we already on the top have a cosine. How could I write secant? 1 over cosine, right? And then on your little cheat sheet, what's tangent squared plus 1? It's right here, it's secant squared. Very good. So it's over secant squared.
Why can't you just keep the secant up there and cross it out?
This is so easy.
What was that now?
Why keep it on top and cross it out? You can't on top.
Now that we see that, yes. Yes, you could
I've
do
seen it
that.
before.
If you saw that from the start, yes. Actually, that's probably easier than what I was gonna do.
Oh, but, all right.
Do you guys get that? Do you guys get what he's saying? So I
think
could
the other way
cross
was so
this
easy.
and this, and then I'd have cosine over secant. Really, yeah, this one, because you still have to go through
Exactly.
cosine divided by secant is cosine squared. And then you'd have to write that as cosine. Divided by 1 over cosine.
This is actually, seems like extra work compared to the other way.
Yeah, it was less before.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's do that, sorry.
Yeah.
You guys can keep going on that one, because sometimes there is more than one way, but I am gonna go back and do it. Cosine, secant. Oh, so you changed this to 1 over cosine. And then this was secant squared. Oh yeah, this is way easier. Because these cancel, right?
Yeah.
And it's 1 over secant squared.
And 1 over secant squared is cosine squared.
Yeah, so 1 over secant squared is cosine squared.
Like say half the steps right there.
Yeah, that's way easier. But if you would have done it that other way, you could have gotten to the answer. It would have just taken you more steps. Okay?
Smarter? I use my brain to time.
No. But there are times that you would get different answers. Okay, so if we look at this, what is sine squared plus cosine squared? 1. And then if I did 1 over sine squared, is that equal to cosecant squared?
Mm-hmm.
1 over sine squared is cosecant squared, right? Everybody okay with that one?
Yeah.
All right. Then, if we look here, what is secant squared minus tangent squared? That's 1. Okay. So it's 1 over cosecant squared. Now, this is an example of one that you're going to want to do something on both sides. So the ones we did so far, you just had to simplify one side. We're going to simplify both sides.
That's squared.
How can I write tangent squared? Sine squared over cosine squared. And what is 1 minus sine squared? Cosine squared. Right? Now, do you guys get these cancel, right? And 1 over cosecant squared is
Sine squared.
And over here, is that what we have?
Yeah. I think we're good to go, bud.
All right, let's look at this. So again, this is one that we are going to want to do something on both sides. So cotangent can be written as what in terms of
Cosine over sine. Squared and squared.
Squared and squared, yes.
Okay.
And that's divided by what's 1 minus sine squared? Cosine squared. And that equals cosecant is what?
1 over sine.
Okay. Divided by sine. So now what I'm going to do on both sides, and remember you have to write this first into a division problem, like this, on both sides. Then once you write it as that division problem, then you can change it to multiplication and say cosine squared over sine squared times, what would the reciprocal of this be? 1 over cosine squared, good. And then here, I'd write this as 1 over sine times, what's the reciprocal of this? 1 over sine. Okay, now, when I look at this, what can I cross out here? Okay, and I get 1 over sine squared equals, what would this give us?
Sine squared.
1
No,
over
one,
sine
sorry.
squared? Now, if you stopped here on your test, you would get like almost all the points, but you don't want to have it, you'd want to write it as cosecant squared. Everybody okay there? All right, now let's look at this last one. And we have tangent squared plus 1. What is tangent squared plus 1?
Secant squared.
Is it secant or cosecant?
Secant.
So then I was supposed to change that. Tangent squared plus 1 is secant squared.
Yeah.
So let's do this. I'm going to change the problem because otherwise it won't work. We're going to change the problem. Instead of tangent squared plus 1, we're going to make it cotangent squared plus 1. Okay, cotangent squared plus 1. So we are going to change this to cotangent squared plus 1. And that is because that is cosecant squared over sine of theta. Now this is one of those that there's a couple different ways to do this. Do you see how eventually we want to get cosecant cubed and we already have cosecant squared, right? We could leave that as cosecant squared and just work with the sign and see if that would equal cosecant. Or we could change this to 1 over sine squared and go through the problem and we get it that way too. Do you guys have a preference?
I don't care.
Okay,
First one.
put the sign for this one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. So this would be 1 over sine squared divided by sine squared, or sine, sorry. And we want it to equal cosecant cubed. Okay? So what this would end up being is 1 over sine squared divided by sine, which when I rewrite it as multiplication would be 1 over sine times, oh, this is 1 over sine squared, sorry. How would I write sine when I change it to multiplication? 1 over sine. Okay. Now, what do you think this would be when you multiply it? 1 over sine cubed. And what do you think 1 over sine cubed is? 1 over, or cosecant cubed, right? Everybody understand that? All right, so you have a worksheet to do today.
What?
Nice when we have work time off.
I think that's.
That's the most work time we've had this entire
Are
time.
they back from their walk yet?
No, I don't see Alex out there with
Are those hotties ready for some fitness?
Who?
The people out there.
Caleb. They're like 7 years old.
Don't like, they need to get this ready for some fitness.
I'm in the,
Weird.
I get it.
What?
That's weird.
Doc's in fitness? Doc, you're in fitness?
No, I'm in.
Wait, what?
All right, take a seat and get to work.
Bob, do I gotta do it quick?
Yes, go fast.
I got some